I am afraid of absolutely everything. I am always stuck in my head and can never seem to find the way out. I have found that over the years, new fears have become through my life experiences as well as stories told by the people around me. After losing someone very special to me from an everyday activity, I realised that being afraid to stand outside my comfort zone, take risks, and just enjoy myself instead of being held back is no way to live when life can be taken at any moment from the simplest of things. Inspired by Fran Krause's comic book, Deep Dark Fears, which highlights the absurdity of everyday anxieties, I have created a stop-motion video of me breaking down my irrational fears and compiling the pieces into a collage. All of these moments of fear and anxiety have been made into something beautiful, that which I would rather be doing with my time instead of stewing in worry and fear. By commenting on the absurdity of irrational fears and how they tend to control our lives and experiences, I am encouraging those around me to try something new and different that may even be a little bit scary, because it could become something beautiful.
Look Here represents the exaggerated issues of capitalism in an alternative reality where people are protesting against mega corporations. My work displays the lower classes rising up in protests against the people of financial power and big companies who are heavily outnumbered. It explores the idea of big companies exploiting the public by ironically advertising unusual products that serve their protests, highlighting their only intention to make money. These advertisements scroll through screens embedded within the piece itself, similar to the traditional digital combinations of Shanghai-based artist-run initiative Island 6. The protesters' signs display barcodes and numbers to represent corporations viewing the people as data and numbers instead of individuals. The artwork serves as a cautionary event of what could happen if the flaws of neo-capitalism are left unchecked. It also critiques large companies such as Coca-Cola, Amazon, and Nestle for the monopolization of market and excessive brand proliferation, prompting the viewer to comprehend how we, the consumer, are slowly being consumed by those that provide.
My piece, How to Be Perfect, a Self-Portrait, explores the concept of perfectionism and the negative impact of this upon the individual. I have been predominantly influenced and inspired by the provocative black and white photographic works of American artist Cindy Sherman and the German-Australian Helmut Newton. Through the continuous application of enhancement filters usually used to correct or fix imperfections in an attempt to make the perfect image of myself has been made. However, the persistent, repetitive application of these filters has resulted in the exact opposite of its intention, pushing the imagery to the point of total failure. This method was influenced by Australian process-based artist Ian Byrne and his 1968 piece Xerox Book 1 out of 12. Further, a looping video of this process plays, each stage morphing into the next, reinforcing the metaphor of the damaging, cyclic process of chasing perfection and its unattainability. It is through this artwork that I wish to create a discourse around the consistent, endless, and overall detrimental aspects of the perfectionism and the pressures it places upon the individual, ultimately causing more harm than it remedies.
The three artworks are reworked imaginings of late 1960s and early 1970s spaghetti western movie posters, reconceptualized to touch on prominent social and political issues in the country of Venezuela. These posters borrow aesthetic features from three mainstays of the aforementioned film genre: Fistful of Dollars, Stickful of Dynamite, and Navajo Joe. Each work borrowing heavily from scenes from within each film. Additionally, the works allure to Southern American and Australian cinema, such as Mad Max Fury Road, and Pelo Malo, further examining issues such as violence, perpetuation and elitist culture, extremism, societal conformity, and regression. This web of homage is intended to foreground the political maladies currently occurring in the home nation of Venezuela, bringing them to a more public consciousness. This call to attention is further accentuated by the intense, bold natures of the image's subject matter and motive color, as well as the proportion of pop art techniques. This appropriation of Western films and styles, in turn, also serves to bring attention to the woes of the marginalized third world country via text familiar to those outside attention of said country. Furthermore, 1960s comic book illustrations and Baroque portraiture both greatly inspired by the experimentation in lighting and value applied to each poster, as well as the layout and format. It is intended that through these works, viewers are engaged with the recognizable exploitative symbolism repurposed to address actual real-world issues.